In the headlines, the DAIC and the Martinique Chamber of Commerce signed historic MOU, a call for an international instrument dedicated to the human rights of older people as the world observes a day against elder abuse, and financial constraints may be hindering the performance of the Portsmouth Town Council. I am Kenny Williams with the Channel 5 News. Details after this. First up, what is being described as a historic memorandum of understanding has been signed between the Dominica Association of Industry and Commerce and the Martinique Chamber of Commerce.
Implementation of a memorandum of understanding between the DAIC and Martinique Chamber of Commerce is now in effect. The signing of this agreement took place at the Garaway Hotel on Wednesday and will lead to business links between the two countries. It follows a trade mission of 13 Martinique business people to Dominica since Tuesday. They attended a forum on Wednesday in which presentations were made on investing and trading with Dominica and Dominica as a tourist destination. Representative of the Martinique Chamber of Commerce sees the MOU as a concrete way of building on a relationship with an OECS counterpart since the French department officially joined the OECS in April.
The accession of Martinique to OECS as an associate member gives a scheme to these exchanges, and the European Union promotes these type of agreements, offering us financial possibilities that harmonize, and only if we can be imaginative and proactive.
Nous signons aujourd'hui une convention déjà pour 1 an, mais je suis persuadée que nous allons la renouveler à l'infini.
We are signing today an MOU for 1 year, but I am sure that this will be renewed to infinite.
The MOU will also involve facilitation of a relationship between the State College and the Martinique Business School and create opportunities for export of Dominica's raw materials.
The Martinique Chamber, from all our research and assessment, they seem to be best in class in how private sector organizations should really operate. And we felt it seems sensible for us, not just to accept the support that was being offered as a result of ERICA, but if we could build and collaborate and build some strong partnerships within the Martinique Chamber of Commerce, we could build capacity within the private sector within Dominica, firstly through the Chamber, and that capacity can extend beyond the remedial work we needed to do for ERICA. And this is where the whole question of the MOU evolved.
The Martinique Trade Mission ends on Saturday. Idona Jean-Baptiste, Channel 5 News.
In other top stories, a timely and vital instrument for protecting the human rights of older persons. That's how the Minister for Social Services and Gender Affairs is describing efforts towards an international convention on the rights of older people. Currently, there is no binding international instrument dedicated to the human rights of older people. Here is part of the Minister's address marking World Elder Abuse Awareness Day on Wednesday.
Elder abuse is a reality right here in Dominica. It takes varied forms: emotional, physical, neglect, and financial, the latter two being the more prevalent forms of abuse here in Dominica. One need only go through the various communities around Dominica to discover how rampant this phenomenon is in our midst. This is brought into sharp focus by government's Yes We Care program, which provides care for elderly housebound citizens. Some of the clients of this program have children holding good positions in Dominica and or overseas, yet these people have been neglected and left at the mercy of friends and neighbors or the state. This constitutes neglect and is therefore a form of elder abuse. Additionally, very often, older persons receive remittances and gifts from family members overseas, or monies in the form of social security payments or public assistance here in Dominica, which they never see. These monies are collected by family members or caregivers who do not use them for the care and upkeep of the elder. By withholding these monies, which are intended for the well-being of the older person, you are in fact being perpetrators of elder abuse.
The minister says the first step towards preventing elder abuse is heightened public awareness and recognition of the fact that no one, regardless of age, should be subjected to violence, humiliation, or neglect and deprived of their basic human rights. Article 25(1) of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights states, "Everyone has a right to security and standard of living adequate for the health and well-being of himself and his family. This includes elder people in society."
Awareness and acceptance of these facts are therefore key to creating a change in social attitude towards the treatment of older persons. The government of Dominica is cognizant of this emerging global concern and has been quite proactive in the provision of services to assist the elderly and support for social services which provide such care. For example, government pays an annual subvention to the Dominica Infirmary and other institutions providing care for the elderly. The Yes We Care program, the Public Assistance program, the Centenarian program, and the non-contributory social pension assistance for nationals 70 years and over are some of the programs which have been implemented to enhance the life and well-being of the elderly in Dominica. And I'm pleased to say that all of these, with the exception of the latter, are being implemented by my ministry, the Ministry of Social Services, Family and Gender Affairs.
Meantime, a hotline on which to call and report elder abuse is on the cards for Dominica. This as the Dominica Council on Aging is stepping up its efforts at reducing incidents of elder abuse in society.
We're looking at being able reporting the cases of abuse when we become aware of it, that it is reported, and so we will be developing a reporting mechanism, hopefully with a hotline number that persons can report those kinds of issues. So it is in the development stage, but we are taking it piece by piece, little by little, and eventually we want to ensure that this malady is stamped out.
TUSA is warning the public that elderly abuse does not only occur from family or community members. Various establishments and business places must also play their role in reducing incidents of elder abuse.
We have cases where persons have assets, but they do not have cash. And these people, there should be some form of, through the banks or some institution, where they can convert these assets into cash so that they can get that cash to take care of their daily needs. And this is one of the things we are looking at. We're looking at legislation.
TUSA says the council held training sessions with institutions which care for the elderly. However, there is still a long process to go through to ensure that elder abuse is eliminated.
We're going to be continuing the discussion with the various institutions. The institutions also will eventually have to be visited and placed and be assessed on the manner in which they care for the elderly in their charge. And so standards are going to be set in terms of that. And then if they do not meet the standards, then certain actions will be taken.
Elder Abuse Awareness Day is recognized on 15th June each year. Some good news, as a Grand4 woman who has been reported missing for the past 6 days has been found. Anthea George, who is known as Kathleen, was found alive and well. The 44-year-old woman was found in the community on farmland. She is believed to be mentally challenged. She was last seen at 10 a.m. on June 10. In more lead stories, a third site has been identified by government for the construction of petrocasas for people displaced by Tropical Storm Erica.
Following the devastating storm last year, the Venezuelan government promised the government of Dominica 300 petrocasas in which to house victims of Tropical Storm Erica. Center in Grand Bay and an area in Belvis-Chopin have already been earmarked and dedicated to the construction of petrocasas. Plat Map here, located between Coiho and Bioche, is the third site to benefit from petrocasas promised by the Venezuelan government.
The government, of course, has moved ahead and started construction of 6 petrocasa houses, the 3-bedroom units as well. As we speak, the foundation works are very much in advanced state, the foundation and framing aspect. The platform here is a gentle sloping site. It's not that flat, so of course the work that you have to do there, you'll have to ensure that the foundation of the houses the flooring is suspended reinforced flooring.
There are plans to expand the number of houses being constructed in Platma-Pier based on the land available.
At Platma-Pier, we have in the excess of 75 lots available when it's state's property, so government is very well positioned there for ensuring that it responds to the best as it can. So for the time being, given the fact that the contract was already signed with a contractor from Venezuela, 6 of those houses will be placed up there and the other 44 will be placed at the Bellevue inside. So that 6 is just a start. There will be more to come.
9 communities had been declared special disaster areas following Tropical Storm Erica. Blackmore says remaining Petro Casas will benefit people who lost houses in these areas.
Those are also part of the planning stage. Okay. So it will be part of the resettlement and progress as well. So that what you're seeing right now, because of the fact that all the houses can't go into one location, and as I said, you have 9 special area housing to deal with. So what we have seen is that the initial work on the 2 most critical has already started, which is in that case was Jubic and Bellevue and Petit Savan. So of course the focus now going forward is to look at the other sites and see how many will go here.
The 9 special disaster areas are Petit Savan, Dubic, Pichelay, Bath Estate, Campbell, Coulibistry, Petit Soufriere, Good Hope and Saint-Sauveur. Andrea Louis, Channel 5 News.
Coming up, a U.S. mission equips the young for involvement in agriculture. Welcome back. Minister for National Security, Rayburn Blackmore, has added his voice in denouncing statements which are being described as calls to incitement and lawlessness. On Monday, Police Chief Daniel Cabon issued a warning, saying he was concerned about statements made by callers to radio talk shows to incite people to commit acts of lawlessness and violence. The police chief said the Constitution makes provision for peaceful protest, action, and these must be adhered to, but any acts of lawlessness would not be tolerated. The country's national security minister says the country should be focused on nation building instead of trying to tear down efforts at development, especially as the country continues to rebuild post-tropical storm Erica.
Certainly people have a right to, in a democracy, to express themselves. But there are provisions in law for that to be done. And I'm particularly concerned with some of the incitement coming from various callers. An act does not have to take place for the offense of incitement to be committed. The mere utterances, and which would cause one to even contemplate or think, or to create the impression that you're asking somebody to break the law, in itself would constitute the offense of incitement.
The minister has reassured the public that all will be done to maintain Dominica's image as a peaceful nation.
You may want to make a reference to Section 11 of the Constitution, Section 1, but you cannot, Section 11, subsection 1, but you cannot read Section 11, subsection 1 without reading subsection 2, which places a limit on such freedoms, okay, and liberties. And provision, of course, is made for the enactment of other laws to ensure that public safety and public morality are in fact maintained. What I can assure the public, that the state will continue to provide the police with all the support that the police department requires to ensure that peace is maintained and the spirit of law is maintained in this country.
Looking at the performance of the Portsmouth Town Council, a past mayor is concerned that a lack of funds is hindering the council from reaching its full potential.
Economic activity in Portsmouth has been thriving, primarily to the credit of Ross University's existence. Chinese, Haitian, and Spanish nationals have made the town their home, settling to find work, and the majority of the Chinese community has even opened businesses there. A man who has witnessed and guided this growth to an extent is Julian Brewster. He served as mayor for Portsmouth for 6 years from 1996. Rating the Portsmouth Town Council, Brewster says many promises made are yet to be achieved.
Not much has changed with the advent of this new council under the leadership of my brother, Titus Francis. I know there are significant sums of monies that are being owed to the council, and the council must make an effort to collect those funds to assist it in enabling it to meet its commitment in assisting us in keeping our environment clean. They have to take steps to attempt to collect some of the outstanding city council rate that is due.
Funds raised from payment of house and land taxes help the council to meet the needs of the community. Another issue bugging Brewster is improper garbage disposal, something he describes as a serious problem. He says urgent action is needed in acquiring a garbage truck.
And this promise of a garbage truck by the government to the council is something that has been going on for almost 20 years now. Since in my tenure as mayor, we have gone as far as to get an invoice. We submitted to government and they were supposed to have ordered this truck. I mean, there are so many dumping sites in Portsmouth, meaning everywhere you pass, you will see loads of garbage. That's a breeding ground for rodents.
While Brewster says nothing is impossible, recontesting the town council election is not part of his immediate plans. Idona John Baptist, Channel 5 News.
And Dominican students stand to continue benefiting from the mission of a United States foundation to boost their agricultural program.
Broadridge Foundation offers what it calls a global education and skill-building summer adventures to U.S. students in middle school, high school, and college. For over 16 years, it has been organizing these student exchange missions to Dominica. An aspect of their assignment is to encourage sustainable development.
We've been based out of Pont Cassé. On this trip. In the past, they've been all over the island, everywhere from Portsmouth to Rousseau and down to the Champagne Reef, Rosalie Bay, and all the way up to the north tip of the island over there, really on every corner of the island, doing different things, doing beach cleanup, sea turtle studies, learning about the marine ecology and some of the landscapes here in the culture of Dominica. We have every intention to keep coming back to this island and are planning to bring another school group from the school in Virginia again in October. And we really hope that these relationships and friendships that are built here are as sustainable as the agriculture here on the island.
The Massac Primary School, through its 4-H club, is a recipient of agricultural tools and seedlings from the Broadridge Foundation. The donation was handed over at a ceremony at the school on Wednesday.
There's a greenhouse here in the back, and they've been preparing it for us this week, tilling the soil, digging irrigation ditches, and now that it's ready, we're going to be working today with the students with tools and seeds that we've donated from Broadreach and planting them in the greenhouse and hoping to provide a sustainable source of food here for the students that go to this school. I think both schools mutually benefit from us all coming together. We've got a lot of ocean between us, but kind of like with these seeds that we're planting today, you start off with raw materials, you start off with earth and seeds and build something beautiful from there, and we're hoping to do the same thing with the relationships that we build with the students and teachers here.
Dawn Francis of D Smart Farms has been a critical link in maintaining the relationship with Broadreach.
In March of 2016, I received an email from Catherine Williams of Broadreach asking for a project on D Smart Farm. So she had some students come down and she wanted to do something on D Smart Farm. And I immediately decided, no, we need to start going out into the community. And there's this school in my community, which is Bell's Primary School, So I immediately told her about Bells Primary School. They gave some tools, they gave cash donation to Bells Primary School. So there we are now, with Broadreach again.
The Massac Primary School promotes agriculture education through its school gardening program.
Because I believe this venture in having agriculture, which was creeping out of our window, to come back to life. And I hope after today's partnership, after what we are going to do in agriculture, not only will our forest students benefit, our school will, and the community by extension.
That's news. Your sports highlights next. In sports highlights, Fashion Line Falcons successfully defended their perfect record with an 11th straight win for the season with 0 losses in Wednesday's version of the 2016 DABA League. Falcons finished on top with 74 points while Signman X-Men were reduced to 61. In the other match, Detroit Blazers escaped with a narrow victory against LA Knights. Blazers finished in the lead with 68 points while LA Knights got 64. Meantime, the action continues at Massac on Thursday in a Division I matchup between Detroit Blazers and Intelco Security Raiders at 7, followed by Kyrie FM Old School versus Paybush Snipers at 9. On to results from the third one-day international between Zimbabwe and India. KL Rahul and Fiaz Fazal were all the Indian team needed for the victory as the opening batsmen led their team to an impressive 10-wicket win over Zimbabwe on Wednesday. Zimbabwe had first knock and were bowled out for 123 in 42.2 overs. Vusi Sibanda top-scored for Zimbabwe with 38. Jasprit Bumrah wreaked havoc in the Zimbabwe batting lineup, taking 4 for 22. With the target set at 124, India replied with 126 for no wickets. KL Rahul scored a game high of 63 while Fiaz Fazal 55. India won the 3-match series 3-0. In football, John Lander scored 1 goal against Jamaica in the first half of the Under-20 Boys Caribbean Cup tournament to put Dominica in the lead 1-0. On Friday, June 17, the national team will take on host country Dominican Republic at 4, and Dominica's final match in that group will be against St. Kitts and Nevis at 2 p.m. on June 19. Still in sports, the 2016 Sports Division Swiss Embassy Primary Schools Cricket Festival Round of 16 is now completed. After a very competitive day of cricket, Convent Prep, Christian Union Primary and Pioneer Prep combined top Zone 1, Siniku Zone 2, Atkinson Primary Zone 3 and SMP Zone 4. These schools will now move to the semi-final carded for Friday. Meantime, schools meeting up in Friday's games will be Convent Prep, Christian Union Primary and Pioneer Prep combined versus Siniku at Gardens and Atkinson Primary against SMP at Jolly John's. Both matches will begin at 1 p.m. The final is set for Monday. Finally in sports, Salisbury defeated Dublin 22-6 and Tetmon beat Goodwill Primary 5-4 in Zone B. Meantime, over on the east in Zone A, Home Advantage favored Wesley when they defeated Castle Bruce 28-5. Atalia Benjamin scored 16 while Nadisha Bellot assisted with 12 for Wesley. Dawana Greenaway was the only scorer of note for Castle Bruce with 4. Meantime, in Tuesday's games, Salisbury recorded a major win over Goodwill Primary 20-0. For Salisbury, Jennifer Joseph scored 15 from 33 attempts and Selena Vidal 5 from 18. Over at Wesley, Woodford Hill went down to the host team 7 goals to 26. Nadisha Bellot scored 14 out of 24 and Aletha Benjamin 12 from 21 for Wesley. Scoring for Woodford Hill, Leandra Africa got 5 from 8 and Elodie 2 from 2. The 2016 Sports Division Swiss Embassy Primary Schools netball games continues at Portsmouth and Dominica Grammar School Hardcourt on Thursday at 2:30 p.m. That's all the sports for now. I am Kenny Williams. Join us again next time. Brief showers overnight, but what can we expect tomorrow? Your weather report is next.
Good evening, Dominica, and welcome to tonight's weather broadcast. I'm your presenter, Marshall Alexander. We begin by taking a look at earlier infrared satellite imagery. A relatively dry atmosphere observed across the region today as a high pressure system remains the dominant feature. However, patches of low-level clouds moving with the wind flow continue to result in occasional cloudy skies across Dominica today. Taking a look at earlier radar imagery, what it indicated, a few scattered showers across the region, with some showers moving across the north of Dominica. Tonight's weather is expected to be partly cloudy to occasionally cloudy, with a few scattered showers, and these conditions are expected to continue into tomorrow. Sea conditions are expected to be slight to moderate, with waves peaking near 5 feet. For the next 3 days, partly cloudy to occasionally cloudy skies with some scattered showers can be expected on Thursday and Friday. However, by Saturday, an increase in cloudiness and scattered showers can be expected, and also an increase in wind speeds with winds up to 40 kilometers per hour. For the rest of the Caribbean, occasionally cloudy skies with scattered showers can be expected, as a high pressure system is expected to remain the dominant feature. Our international cities forecast: some rain expected in New York, thunderstorm activity expected in Miami and London, clear skies expected in Caracas, and partly cloudy skies expected in Beijing. Sunrise tomorrow will be at 5:45 a.m. and sunset will be at 6:38 p.m. Please remember that we are in the hurricane season. For more information, you can call the weather hotline at 447-5555 or visit our website at weather.gov.dm. Thanks for viewing. Have a good night.
To end the news, the headlines again. The DAIC and the Martinique Chamber of Commerce signed a historic MOU, a call for an international instrument dedicated to the human rights of older people as the world observes a day against elder abuse, and financial constraints may be hindering the performance of the Portsmouth Town Council. Feel free to contact us at news@mapping2k4.com. You can also access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the production team, I am Kenny Williams. To our viewers around the world, thank you for watching. Join us tomorrow.